Hello guys, welcome to my channel. After a long time I am finally writing the review of Not Me the series. Like I know I took like almost 2 months, but sorry I couldn't able to do it on time. So here is my review of Not Me the series, and let me begin with a disclaimer. This review is totally based on my opinion and my thoughts about the show and major spoilers. So let's begin. 1. The difference between the novel and the series. This would be the first time I had seen a series as so different from the novel. Like if you read the novel and watch the series, it is totally something new. The major difference is that the whole genre is changed in the series. The novel is a light, comedy, and more dramatic, and the series is very dark and filled with activism. Graham Black. I was really disappointed how they gave us hope for Graham Black, just in the end to straight wash Graham. I felt betrayed. Like I hate when a series does that. We barely have gay characters and gay couples. Even if they wanted Graham to have a straight storyline why he can't end up with Nutch, it would have been better, but you can't ask too much. Sean already knew it was White. In the series Sean didn't have a clue that it was White who is disguised as Black. But in the novel Sean was already in love with White since his high school, but one day in high school White was accidentally pushed by Yoke and then he hit by a car, and he lost his memory of his high school. And Sean was there and Black sees him and create a scenario that it was Sean who have pushed White. So Black have a mental disorder in which he loves his brother so much that he wants protect him for everyone, and he will do anything. He will create a split personality. It wasn't Todd, it was Black itself. He sent the goons to beat up Sean, but due to a miscommunication Black came there and his own goons beat him up. So these were the major differences. Let's start with the thing I found weak in the series. 1. Weak and boring midpart. This series actually fall like a typical GMM-TV BL series with a strong start then a weaker midpart. As I loved the beginning of the series and it was fast in the beginning with a good pace, and I really enjoyed the dark thriller undertone of the series. But suddenly the mid part was really boring. Nothing is happening. We just get every episode of law students debating over the justice system or those political lectures or the gang members explaining why their country justice systems suck. I get it, they wanted to fully sympathize over our so-called vigilante heroes and them trying to explain their action. If they were really doing criminal activity like the original teaser, then it would have make sense them to justify their actions in every episodes. But since it was typical good guys versus the bad guys, so for them to justify their actions in every episode made me really bored with it. Then it did pick up after episode 9 or 10, then the series became interesting, but too much happened during the finale episode, and just to give every character their happy ending, which was quite unrealistic. It would have been better if they were in the jail for some years. Like no matter what's the intention is, it's either good or bad, but it's still illegal, so they should behind bars. But it's a piece of fiction in the end, so let's not ask for more. The whole black-white twin connection thing was totally unnecessary. It doesn't add anything to the plot. It was like mentioned in the first episode after they did not even mention it. And there weren't much black-white scenes, and with scenes, I meant some meaningful scenes, because the major premise of the show kinda starts with brotherhood. And talking about premise, White literally did nothing when he joined the gang. The only reason he joined the gang to find out who was behind Black's accident, but White did nothing. He just simply followed the gang and forget his own premise, and he never found out by himself who was behind Black's accident. He was told by Black himself. It also has some unfinished part, like what the hell was Black doing after he woke up from the coma? It was just off screen, and what was going with Todd and Tawi. I get it, Todd's intention was to replace White with Black, so the gang will continue to try some attempts to take Tawi down until then he gets more power. But after that, his rivalry was never continued, and he was just randomly fighting with Black, and suddenly he was in the hospital presumably beaten up by Black. And Gunpa already knows from the beginning that it wasn't a Black. It doesn't make sense. It would have been better if Gunpa confronted White since in the beginning, but after that, he slowly helped him, because imagine if White was a bad guy who wanted to destroy the gang, so would Gunpa just let him join the gang and would do nothing? And Sean and White's relationship doesn't add much to the plot. I get it, this show is not a BL-centered show. It's more of a mystery, thriller-based show, just the main leads are a gay couple. And they add nothing to the plot. I meant that if I removed their love story arc, it would have made a zero impact on the main storyline compared to Dan Yoke's relationship, where it makes a direct connection to the story. As for the acting and chemistry, I still stick to my words, Dan Yoke have better chemistry than Sean White. And when it comes to acting, Gunn nailed it as always. He is probably one of the finest actors in GMM-TV. He can pull of any role. I love Fluke and Gawin both did an amazing job. Fluke really embodied his character of Yoke, and Gawain also pulled of the complexity of Dan very well. As for Off, he did a better job compared to his previous projects, but still he doesn't have any single moment where I can say, Off proved me wrong. He is an amazing actor. Like all the cast, Gunn, Fluke and Gawain have some scenes where I was like, yeah, they proved me wrong. But as for Off, he did a mediocre job as usual. As for Mond, his character was simple, but I liked the way he added his own element to the character. I am going to say something really controversial. I think I would have preferred if someone else would have played White and Sean.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Like it would have been better if Ohm and Nanan have done this project instead of Off Gunn. And thank God for the first time a trans character wasn't just comedic relief like in mostly BL series does. And thanks to BL gods for not making the girls as jealous bitches who can't handle rejection. I love that even though both Eugene and Namo liked the main leads but they weren't trying to interfere in the main lead's life, they accepted it and moved on. I would like to praise the cinematography of the series. I also like how they showed slum area of Thailand, not like your typical BL series where one of the main leads is a super rich guy who gets angry when his parents buy a wrong color, Lamborghini. And that scene under the pride color will be the best scene in BL series history. So in conclusion, this series really highlights the current political issue in Thailand. Which is a kinda taboo topic, so you ain't seeing this kind of show anytime soon. I am probably in the minority when it comes to the show because I had seen a majority of people calling it a masterpiece. But for me, it's more of an important show with some loose ends, so overall I give Note Me 6.9/10.